I want some clarifications on the issue you earlier mentioned about interception. You know, at the first time, the Zoo media, the Nigerian government, has been talking about, they said, arrest and extradition. Whereas it is clear that it is not what happened. Because, why I'm saying it is clear, because Mazi NNAMDI, our attorney, principal attorney, Mazi Johnathan, has met with our leader and he confirmed the ordeal, what happened. Is there no credibility on what the lawyer said, our attorney, that came, because now the attorney is the mouthpiece of Mazi Kanu. So is there no credibility on what he said? Let me start by that.
If NNAMDI'S attorney has made a statement, then we must take his statement as an attorney because it's above board. However, it's only presenting NNAMDI'S viewpoint, Mazi Kanu's viewpoint. Until such statements are subject to examination and hearing the side of the other party, one must approach them very cautiously. And what statement in particular are you referring to?
Okay, let me say the statement. First of all, as I said, Nigerian government said that our leader Mazi Kanu was arrested and extradited, of which, you are talking about interception, which is coming out now. They change wordings. So, how can a government be making or changing words in this way? Because we know, first of all, let's come to the basics. We know that our leader is no more using Nigerian passports, and they brought the Minister of Justice in Nigeria, Malami, during his press release, his press statement or media chat, he said that our leader was caught with a Nigerian passport issued in 2013, which all of us know that, it was the passport that was left when he was abducted the first time. Now he's using British passport. Now, how is it, or how legal or logical is it that somebody that is traveling in a British passport will be taken to another country other than the passport, the country's passport? It sends shivers to the bodies or the eyes of people, holders of British passports. Maybe you're a naturalized citizen, you are holding British passports. So this is what I want you to clarify this, or to shed more lights on this. How legal or legitimate internationally, in international laws and rules and regulations, in order to conduct this type of operation, sending you back to another country that is not your the owner of your passport you are currently holding. Please, I want you to shed more light on this before we continue, because we will come to the jail, the so-called jumping bell they are talking about. Go on, Mazi.
Very well. Well, what you're hinging on is dual nationality. It all depends on if Nnamdi has renounced his Nigerian nationality. If, however, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was traveling on a British passport, then he is obviously a British citizen at the point. And if he was arrested, the appropriate thing to have done was to notify the British High Commission in the territory where he was arrested. And then the British Embassy normally would have intervened and examined the position of affairs. I'm not aware that that was done. I'm not aware if he was arrested, under what authority was arrested, and if he was extradited, then the appropriate thing would have been to commence extradition proceedings. From my experience, extradition proceedings would not have been properly carried out within a period of 3-4 days, a week or two, because firstly, there has to be an application to the court, the offense for which is desired to be extradited to a certain territory has to be examined by the local court. And then, of course, extradition proceedings are usually not granted if there is a level of punishment, particularly capital punishment, in most instances. Extradition proceedings would not have been granted if the matter borders on political grounds. Therefore, I do not think there was any extradition proceedings, and nobody had said there was. And if that was the case, the first thing they would have done was giving him a right to contact somebody, and if he had not been able to contact somebody, the next thing to have done was to contact the country whose passport he had on him at the point in time. So these things are still not decided yet, and we only have snippets of information. But as it seems to be turning out, there has seemed to be a impetuous action, something hastily done, but as it is at present, it's in the hands of Nigerian authorities, and in due course, we'll know exactly what their position is. I understand and know that in Nigeria, illegally obtained evidence are admissible in court if they are relevant, but I also know that this is not the first time that persons have been attempted to be abducted to Nigeria. It happened in the time of Umaru Dikko, but fortunately the British authorities intervened and rescued Umaru Dikko. It seems to be a pattern that has been employed before, although thwarted by the Nigerian authorities. Unfortunately, in this instance, the authorities of wherever he was abducted from, it's not able to intervene or basically look the other way. But as concerns dual citizenship, that is the procedure. As the procedure, if Nnamdi was traveling at the point, as you stated, with a British passport, then that is his known nationality, and the appropriate thing to have done was to notify the British authorities that their citizen is being held or arrested, and then the consulates would have intervened appropriately. I don't think any of those was done. I have not heard that that was done. We still need to see the terms of the arrest and the reason for the arrest. So as it appears now, and everything is still hazy and unclear, that is the appropriate position. So we have to take everything that is being said and emanating from those that are holding Mazi Nnamdi Kanu with a pinch of salt until these issues are properly verified. in due course in a properly constituted judiciary bench.
Okay, let me also come to this. In the case, because I'm calling it what it is. That is
yes, go ahead.
You know, rendition, or unlawful rendition. Now,
yeah, abduction, I told you.
Yes.
It's the forceful taking of somebody.
Yes.
Against his will. If it's forceful, if Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was forcefully taken against his will, without due process of law, and there is nothing wrong in calling his position as one that has suffered abduction. I agree with that aspect of your view.
Okay. You know, as you said, as you mentioned before, this is not the first time that Nigeria government tried to do this. Basically, this present government that was there in the 80s, they tried to abduct Omar Diko. Though Omar Diko was known to be a looter with many proofs anyway, but he was hiding in the United Kingdom. So they tried to abduct him, but with the intervention of Britain. Omar Diko at that time, he wasn't holding British passport. He was a Nigerian with Nigerian passports, and Britain intervened. Now, you know, there is something I see in Nigeria. They feel that they can do anything because they always hide on the auspices of a sovereign country. But I want you to also shed light on this. Being a sovereign country per se, does it give you the audacity in order to circumvent laws? And what are normally, if this is on the unlawful rendition, what do you think, or the international law or regulation, what should be the consequences in this case if everything is being proved or proven that it is unlawful rendition? Will only Nigeria, or should only Nigeria suffer consequence with Kenya? What about Britain that stays and did, as a layman we see, did nothing to protect her citizen? What is your take on this?
The matter is slightly complex. The first thing to do is to allow the local jurisdiction where the individual, in this case Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, to come up with evidence of what they are doing with a foreign national. In this case, a British citizen. The usual thing for the British consulate would do is to watch over the interest of their citizen, ensure that he's getting his rights protected and that the procedure adopted is right and proper. Internationally speaking, there are universal rights that are inalienable, that pertain to every individual, which states try to enforce and protect their citizens' rights. In this instance, the only involvement of the British government would be that Nnamdi is a British citizen. The abduction was not done in the United Kingdom. Like I said, if Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is alleged to have committed an offense anywhere in the world and is found outside that territory, the proper thing would be to make an application to the local authority of the area where he has been found. If they use the word arrested, that meant there was a legal procedure that enforced his detention.
But there was not.
Yes, so if there wasn't, then if there wasn't any legal procedure that enforces detention, then it casts a lot of doubt as to the genuinity or rightness of his removal from that territory. But what is surprising is that whatever territory, because they haven't stated certainly where he was removed from, authorities of that state need to state whether he was removed in their country to their knowledge or not to their knowledge. And if not to their knowledge, then why is that so? So we need to know where exactly Nnamdi was, in their words, intercepted, why he was intercepted. If they said he was arrested, we need to know where he was arrested and what are the intentions.
Also, we need to know.
Yes,
we
please.
need to know. First of all, Kenya government denied that the thing didn't happen in their soil. Okay. Secondly, Nigerian government did not make any. They are hiding the place. This, to call the name of the place that the thing, that Mazi Johnathan Chinedu was abducted. So they need to tell us, must we? So that's why I asked that question. Does it mean that maybe the person that was abducted, he didn't know where he was before he was abducted? Because he said it, he was in Kenya and from the horse's mouth. So does it mean that his words, according to law, according to the law, his words are not credible? For example, you know where you are today. If anything happens and you say, okay, I was in this place, in this country, not even in a community, they will say, okay, maybe they might say, maybe no, you are not in that domain, you are there. But in a whole country, somebody that traveled there and now said, I was abducted from here, and narrated everything. That is why I asked that question. Does it mean that his wordings through the lawyer are not credible? The person, the victim. Why should we be waiting for what the abductor, Nigerian government, will say? Because we continue waiting for them, they might keep quiet, and because they are hiding under the auspices of a government, so they can talk anything. That is why I also ask, what normally are the consequences of this type of action? Go on, Mazi.
Thank you. If Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has indicated that he was abducted from Kenya, then that is evidence, unless that evidence is examined to be found to be false by presentation of a credible counter evidence, then that is his position. And if he was abducted from Kenya, then it brings into view why he was and how he was abducted in Kenya. Obviously, I would not have expected that they would have taken Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya by foot or by road to Nigeria. He would have been flown out. And if he was flown out, then that begs the question what the aviation authorities of Kenya were doing. If they are unaware of that, who cleared the plane that took off? What is the manifesto of such a plane? All these things are things that are to be examined. But be it as it may, at present, Nnamdi Kanu Mazi is in Nigeria. And until these issues are re-examined, I must take his statement to be as stated. He's aware of where he was, at least conscious of where he was at the last time when he was abducted. So that's how it really is, until we can subject these things to examination in a properly constituted court. We can only continue to guess. But rightly speaking, if he was abducted in Kenya, then there needs to be an explanation by the Kenyan authorities of really what happened. But Nigeria is there. There are certain protected international rights that are inalienable to every living entity, every human being, a right to associate, a right to life, a right to fair hearing, a right to representation. This has not been done in this particular instance, and these are the rights that are basically encapsulated that forms extradition proceedings. If NNAMDI Kanu Mazi was requested by the Nigerian authorities, then that request would have been looked into by the Kenyan authorities, see whether it's viable to allow NNAMDI Kanu to go to Nigeria, taken to Nigeria, or if it's not viable to allow that. But these things haven't been done in this instance, and therefore there are questions and answers that the Kenyan authorities have to be posed to the Kenyan authorities and answered by them accordingly. But at present, these things are the way they are. But we understand international relationships and the sovereignty of every nation. And most times, international law is very slow to act. And unless there's properly presented criminal allegation against individuals or governments or leaders of a sovereign territory before the International Criminal Court, then we can only begin to second guess these things. But like I said, until these matters are properly made clear, we can only continue to guess. But I don't think that the procedures were properly followed and things were done as they ought to have been. So there is a lot of shades of darkness in the return of NNAMDI Kanu to Nigeria. We need to wait and hear what the Nigerian government says. The matter is before the courts, and in due course there will be further revelations.
Okay. There is another thing. As I told you, we had a press release from our attorney, Mazi Johnathan. He said it, pump and plain, that his client, Mazi NNAMDI Kanu, stated that he was abducted from Kenya. Okay. That's where I'm basing my pronouncement. If that's the case, I'm coming. Why is it our leader, Mazi NNAMDI Kanu, has been moving on, has been going around in many European countries to USA without interruption? Why do you think that this type of dirty job is done in an African country? Why do you think so? Why? Do you think why?
Well, my personal thoughts in this matter are secondary, but nonetheless, I can appreciate a known fact of the porosity of enforcement of rules and laws and orders in a whole lot of African nations. I can only guess that it is this laxity of affairs that occurred in this instance, and this is usually born out of nepotism, corruption, bribery, I can only guess and guess and guess what it could be. It could well be that the individuals in Kenya had compromised and received gifts, and they gave traded NNAMDI away. It could well be that there is ongoing arrangement which was followed through, albeit dubiously. It is well known that until Nigerian nations begin to do things properly, or African nations begin to do things properly, this kind of developments are very, very prone to happen. Unfortunately, in this instance, it's happened to Mazi Kanu, but he is free to travel to wherever he wishes to travel to, and it's expected that he would have the benefit and protection of the laws of the areas he is. Unfortunately, that hasn't happened in this instance. And so we can continue to second guess until we have the actual facts of what has happened. But, you know, he refers to these places as zoo. And, you know, what's a zoo? A zoo is a place animals are housed. And how do animals behave? Animals are known to be very, very irrational in their behavior. They live by instincts, survival instincts. They kill one another to survive. Or perhaps somebody has been compromised and is willing to trade away now for a given sum. But these things are they are just not unheard of. Even in Christendom, Judas Iscariot traded away Jesus Christ. I can only continue to second guess these things, but that's just a personal feeling which is irrelevant to the actual nitty-gritty of the law. So we need to still wait and hear in due course what the courts say and how Nnamdi Kanu Mazi was eventually abducted and produced in the Nigerian courts. So until then, you know, we can continue to second guess these things.
Let me ask you a direct question, Mazi, before I continue.
Please do.
Do you trust, honestly, as a person of law, do you trust Nigerian court system? Do you trust Nigerian court system?
As a child of law, I was raised in law, and I have to have respect for law. I know there is a lot of miscarriage of justice in Nigeria. I know that there's the practicalities of Nigerian law, or generally speaking, laws grants the judge wide discretion to make decisions. But the fountain of justice sometimes could be polluted. But the crux of the matter is the higher you go on the rungs of courts or justice system, then the purer the water should be. Unfortunately, I have had instances or read instances of miscarriage of justice even to the apex level of the Nigerian judicial system. But these things are not unbeknown in other jurisdictions, but it's far in between. But the rate and rampancy with which occurs in Nigeria, I would say, is quite alarming. As there are miscarriage of justice, that's not disputed. But until the matter is properly enunciated before a judicial body, and there is examinations, cross-examinations, submissions, applications, interlocutory, if they arise, we can only continue to second guess. But we must, of course, be very alert to the possibility of miscarriage of justice. It's very, very common in that jurisdiction, I would venture to say.
Okay. Let me come back. Let's go back to the second part, which you try to venture in, but I put you on hold on that way. Let us now enter into that. You know, there is always this notion, media propaganda, that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu jumped bail. He was scheduled to be in the court. First of all, they granted him bail on very stringent conditions in order to hold him hostage. But they felt that, you know, he couldn't respect, you know, the conditions of his bail. Okay. And he was scheduled to go to court. But before that date, because he has made it open that he's going to court, he's even happy to go to the Nigerian court, and he's going there with millions of Biafrans. And I think a few months before that court date, Nigerian military, they came illegally to just assassinate him. In that process, they killed many people in his house. It's just he escaped by miracle. It was on video. But when the story is being talked about, or when you hear the Nigerian media talking about it, they omit that fact, or that the story of the Nigerian military invading Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's house, which is evident. They always say he jumped bail. He jumped bail. And the Nigerian military was taken to court. I mean, the Nigerian government, to explain why the Nigerian military, what were they doing in Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's house before his court date, which they should have waited. If he maybe went against the conditions of his bail, they should have waited on the court date to take him back in. But they didn't do that. They sent the military just to kill him. But while speaking about it, they omit all these very important facts. What are you going to say in this issue? Over to you, Mazi.
Thank you. That's another or a clear indication of abuse of process. It is notoriously known that Nnamdi Kanu Mazi's house or family home was raided by the military, and it's notoriously known as well that a lot of casualties and lives were lost. It is also notoriously known that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, by some mysterious device, managed to escape being assassinated during that raid. I think it's called the Python dance, if I recall very well. That is a clear indication of an abuse of process. The appropriate thing to have done, because you mentioned that the bail conditions were stringent, if it's found that the bail conditions were not being met, what the prosecution could have done in that case was to apply to revoke bail. On the one hand, if the bail conditions were too stringent, the defense as well could have applied to vary the bail condition. But there didn't appear to have been any of this done. And then the next thing we had was an invasion where a whole lot of lives, casualties and properties were lost and damaged. The issue is clearly an abuse of process, and when this matter comes back into court, then those conditions will be looked into and the circumstances would be examined. But genuinely and rightly speaking, it would be unfair for a man whose life is threatened in that fashion to be expected to remain in that jurisdiction. he would be, of course, entitled to seek political protection or asylum on humanitarian grounds in a different jurisdiction. And if that's were presented, it would have been granted asylum in a different jurisdiction. In this instance, it's very clear that there was an abuse of process. We haven't said that because his life was threatened and he suffered harassment and abuse. Having said that, it's secondary to the fact at present, right now, is in the hands of the Nigerian authorities. So they still need to come forward and present their reasons for holding him. But rightly speaking, the notorious knowledge which we have of the events that occurred in Umuahia are such that any reasonable person would have to take steps to protect his life, because he could not obviously rely on following the due process of law in that circumstance. And to that extent, I do not find Mazi Johnathan wrong in seeking to protect his life, because his life was no longer guaranteed, and the right to life is one of the inalienable rights that is guaranteed under the universal rights. So to that extent, yes, but we still need to wait and see what comes out in court. But if I were in that position, as I think every other reasonable individual, would have taken steps to ensure that he does not get killed. So that's, I would think, is an abuse of process.
Okay. You said an abuse of process by a government. You know, we are saying it is very light. People lost.
No, it's not light at all. It's not light at all. It's a very serious affair.
Yes, it's a serious, very serious issue. You know, I mean, some people hearing us, listening to us, you know, it might be sounding in their ears very light. You know, abuse of process. Now, I want to ask you this question, no matter how maybe weird or absurd it will sound, before we go on. You talked about abuse of process by the government. You know, if the government is there in order to maintain law and order, and a democratic setting works with the people, because without the people there will be no government. Okay, when there is abuse of process, abuse of power, they use government, but it's few individual politicians, let me say, politicians that are doing this, because they are using state authority, state resources in order to commit their heinous crimes. When there is abuse of process, when a common man cannot have faith in the courts of the country, you know, because the tribunal, the court, is the last hope of a common man. But when this can no longer take place, when the court can give order and the police or DSS will refuse and say, it doesn't concern, go, they will bullshit the court order. Sorry for my language. Now, whenever there is in a place where there is abuse of process, which can also affect anybody, what should the people do in order to remedy the situation? Because if there is abuse of process by an individual or by a few group, government will rise up immediately to to hold them accountable, arrest them or kill them or do one thing or the other against them. But what of if you have a rogue government in a so-called democratic setting that is committing crimes against the people? What should the people do? What, in order to checkmate this, what is the right of the people? What should they do?
Thank you. A situation where there is clear indication there is a breakdown of law and order, and the government of the day has become roguish in terms that they They are deliberately flouting the principles of governance, and it is always government of the people, for the people, by the people. So it is government of the people, and the government is by the people, and the government is for the people. So the people themselves can rise up and challenge the order of the day. We have seen such rising up time and time again to correct an abuse. But unfortunately in Nigeria, we haven't been courageous enough to rise up against any such abuse. So these abuses have endured for generations. And I understand that there is an indication that the entire instruments of coercion and arms of coercion, it's controlled lopsidedly, and things are done lopsidedly. But unfortunately, we have to have men of courage. We have to have women of courage. We have to rise up and speak up. I've had a few individuals who have condemned the government's deeds. I've had Senator Abaribe, who has risen up. I've had Governor Autumn, who has risen up. I've had a few other individuals whose name I don't have at present, who has risen up and condemned the order of the day. I recognize Pastor Wole Soyinka, who speaks up against things that are wrong, and a few others. But generally speaking, there is a high level of apathy and nonchalance in the country. And so the government gets away with things as they desire. Unfortunately, also, the governors and the elected persons are not serving the people, particularly in the southeast, or indeed in the south-south. And so they keep screaming out about marginalization until the people are able to say to the people they have elected, you are not serving us, then the people need to take over and be able to remove these persons. But so long as the governors are tools in the hands of their oppressors, then it's just lamentable. Lamentable. I would have expected that if NNAMDI Kanu was in his town, when they raided his house, that the governor of the state would have intervened. But for some strange reason, everything is allowed. I would have expected that the people of the state, for example, would have risen up and spoken up. I would have expected that.
Can I come in here to make some clarifications also? To shed also, you know, Nigeria is smartly structured to be like this. Because of lack of ideological cohesion among the population, this lack of ideological or common value system, it gives the politicians the impunity, the power to act with impunity. Okay, if what happened, for example, the way they came to our leader's house and Python dance 1, Python dance 2, they came, they killed our people. Do you know the northern, the Fulani North, they will be preaching, in as much as they are seeing that people are dying, that the Nigerian government is committing heinous crimes, but they will be covering their crimes by telling the people, mostly in the north, that look, they are killing heathens or Gentiles or unbelievers. They are anti-Islam. That thing only covers any apathy that they can have. because that is where they are. It's just like, you know, they always tell their people not to listen to Radio Biafra because we are anti-Islam. That is what the propaganda they are using. So, in the case of impunity happening, the politicians enjoy the structure of Nigeria. I mean the creation, the overall artificialness of Nigeria creation. Because how can, just look at what happened during the NSAS protest. A revolution that was, you know, good for every citizen, both the police, the military. They are fighting, youths, we are fighting for better governance, for better policing, even for the better life of the police, even the military. But they used ethnicity and religion to turn things around. That is why I say it is only the politicians that are enjoying in the Nigerian setting. Because it is smartly, Britain smartly structured, created Nigeria, not structure, created Nigeria with, you know, for everybody to be together, both the hyena and the sheep, lamb, lion to be together in a place. It shouldn't be. When things are happening, when some, as you say, when a state, for example, if people from Abia State or Biafrans rise up to protest the injustice happening to us, others they will bring up people from Kanu and everywhere, and they rise up. They say no, they support the Nigerian government. It happened during NSAS, whereas the Southerners are fighting, protesting against police brutality. They call not. I'm not talking about the Middle Belt. No, they are not part of the North. They call not. They sponsor people. They bring them out in support of the police brutality. So how can a place like this function logically? How can it function? That is the big question. How can it function? Once you rise up for one thing or the other to protest against injustice, you know, Nigeria, they don't see people. They don't see people as a, because nobody is a Nigerian. Honestly, it is only we Southerners and mostly Biafrans that are, you know, struggling to Nigerianize. We've seen the Fulani politicians. They come up openly in order to tell everybody, the whole world, that they don't care about Nigeria. It was on tape. I'm having it. I used to play it here. That their nationality is Fulani. It doesn't matter whether you are Fulani from any part of the world, that you are welcome into Nigeria with Nigeria resources. Once you enter Nigeria, you automatically become a citizen of Nigeria, enjoying Nigeria benefits, if any, or Nigeria resources. Do you see how messy everything is? We are in a very big mess. Unless our people understand. So I will allow you to make your remarks. If you have any, you continue. Just a few minutes before I continue. Go on, Mazi.
I understand the distribution of ethnic groups in Nigeria. I understand the influence of religion in Nigeria. I understand the distribution of constituencies in Nigeria. I have a fair understanding of the history of Nigeria and how Nigeria have come to be. Unfortunately, history is no longer a main subject in Nigeria. But to understand the present and to be able to deal with the future positively, one needs to understand the history. Nigeria is a territory carved out by our imperial masters, colonial masters, and they amalgamated the territory of the Southern Protectorate and the Northern Protectorate along the line. I believe it was in 1914 by Lord Lugard. But the colonial masters wanted efficiency. They wanted to be able to administer the region appropriately and take the benefits they could from the region. So they employed men of merit, men of ability and intelligence who could actually expedite their needs after they have been obviously subdued and accepted their governance. We of course understand that before the advent of the colonial masters, that Uthman Dan Fodio had invaded the northern part of the territory carved out and described as Nigeria today, and has set up institutions. And it was easy for the colonial masters to overcome those institutions and coherent institutions to work for them. And that was the position. And then obviously Nigeria evolved. And then of course they wanted their interests protected. Having given birth to a child, you want your child grow and you want your child to be able to produce and reap the benefit of that child's adolescence and adult life. So at the time they were living in Nigeria, Nigeria was considerably restructured. At that point, we could hear people making statements that it had to be the northern man first, and if they can't find a northerner, you have to employ an expatriate, and a whole lot of ethnical sentiments against others were expressed. And of course, the delay of Nigeria's independence from 1957 to 1960, and ultimately the coup and the Nigerian Biafran war, as it then was, where Ojukwu stood up and there was the war, and ultimately the war ended. Or during the war, there was a creation of 12 states. That was the beginning of the segregation. The unity of the regions were broken. When, of course, there was a compromise of certain areas, and the unity or uniformity of the eastern region as it then was broken. We had river states, cross-river states, and these people were given the impression that they were going to be overwhelmed and subdued by the majority Igbo nation in that region. And so that seed was sowed. It was nurtured over the period. And subsequently, there was a creation of 19 states, and at present, I believe it's 36 states. And all of these creations were done by military decrees. And the cumulative effect of it is that the distribution of constituencies and electoral colleges and regions became disproportionately distributed. And that's afforded the current government authorities the ability to elect more people, have majority of say in the parliament, which has endured over the years. And of course, over the years, at the end of the war, there was a pronouncement of no victor, no vanquish, but there was no reintegration of the people. And by a fusion of time, young men have grown up who do not witness the war, but they have come to a country that does not really accept them and do not give them opportunities. I'm aware if you're coming from Abia State, you're expected to score 380 points to get into a university, and if you're coming from a far away state, you may have scored only 9 or 10 points and you get an admission process. And then all of this cumulated in the people feeling a sense of marginalization, which is why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu speaks as he does, because one could see his bitterness and anger when he voices out what he does voice out. The question is the statements that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu make true or wrong? I haven't seen anybody that said that they are not suffering any of these maladies and the symptoms are not affecting them. The man from the southeast doesn't get any employment. He goes to school and he has to score 1,000,000 times better than the man from the north. He gets out of the school and he doesn't get employment. He has resources located in the back of his yard and he's not reaping for the benefit of those resources. So these things over the period will obviously evoke bitterness and anger and a description in the word marginalization. So this is what has led to the current agitation. It's not just with the Southeast. I know that the Oduduwa Kingdom are also agitating. It's further complicated by the recent herders who are robbing the forest of these regions. And like you pointed out, wherever you come from and you enter Nigeria, you're given nationality. So it basically speaks for itself that there is an abuse of process. The government of the day is not doing rightly. Indeed, the government of the day appears to be compromised and only seeking after their own clannish interest. It's known very clearly
for people, for the interest of listeners. Oh, this is Mazi Godwin Aburi Ijomanta Esquire. You are hearing his voice. Today we are dissecting the lies of the enemy. We want people to understand things as against what the Nigerian media is carrying. Because here we dish out, we want you enlightenment. We dish out enlightenment. And just what you said before, also what I said, for you to have a Nigerian nationality, what you need to do is only just go to local government area and receive a letter of recommendation. It's finished. It's the Fulani government, they put it there on purpose, so that immediately anyone that comes from Sudan, from Central African Republic, as they are coming in, they are getting recommendation letters as now they'll be given ID cards immediately. That is what is required, nothing more. So now there is something I want to read, so that you also shed light on it. It breaks two hours ago. The British High Commission in Nigeria has acknowledged the receipt of the letter written on behalf of the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Mazi Kanu, seeking its support as a British citizen. In the acknowledgement letter sent to Kanu's counsel, Aloy Ejimako, on Tuesday, the 6th of July 2021, the British authorities guaranteed the protection of Kanu's welfare. Ejimako said the letter specifically stated that Kanu will get support and welfare of the British authorities. Now, I want you to expatiate on what they mean by welfare, entering on or guaranteeing his authorities guarantee the protection of Kanu's welfare. They are, what baffles me, Mazi, please. Personally, I'm baffled. Britain is not going to ask questions. First of all, what happened? Why was he kidnapped from a third country back to Nigeria without coming, bringing him, sending him to UK if there is anything, without consulting? That is where I become really, it baffles me. Now they are talking about welfare. Please expatiate and let the listeners hear. Let them know whether there is any other thing under normal circumstances, whether there is any other thing the British government should have done as a holder of their passports during the abduction, apart from playing the lip service of it's commendable, but I don't know if, for example, a white British was arrested and not arrested, abducted and taken to another country, how would they have reacted like this? Please shed more light on the generality of this issue again, and this letter being received. Go on, Mazi.
Like I said, these are international matters and they border on sovereignty. If Nnamdi Kanu is within the sovereign territory recognized by the British authority, then the British authority would only be able to intervene within the realms of law as they can, and to guarantee someone's well-being, the word well-being is quite encompassing. Well-being can mean they ensure that it's safe. Well-being can mean they ensure that it gets well tried. Well-being can mean if it's a trial is not being properly done, they will intervene if necessary by force. It's a diplomatic statement, and one must appreciate their concern, having spoken that they will guarantee and ensure his well-being. Then those are matters that can be brought back to them if his well-being is being trampled upon. That's the way such a letter would be couched. And so on the surface of that letter, one must applaud them for recognizing that the citizen of theirs is in a situation and they have intervened, so they keep an eye and watch over. If there's an abuse, then they will intervene. If that abuse is such that is necessary to employ the power of force, then we would expect them to do so. That is a clear signal that they are alert to the situation a citizen of theirs is in. Of course, limited by the fact that Nnamdi Kanu can also be said to be a citizen of Nigeria, all based on the fact whether he has renounced Nigerian citizenship or not. But he always said he wasn't a Nigerian, that he's a Biafran. That's the position. But the reality is, as my people would say, all that boom boom, why would Okoro intervene in the matters of Nwankwo? Is it Okoro that is supposed to die when Nwankwo is there? Nwankwo needs to rise up. The people of Nigeria, the people of the East needs to rise up. If they feel what is being done is not right. If you just sit down passively and expect external powers to intervene, then you're just being passive. What are the governors of Abia State doing? Is this not a member of their community? What is T.A. Oji doing? Is it not the senator of
Mazi,
Umuahia?
you are speaking as if you don't know. These are even the people that want him killed, dead.
Well, if that is the position, then those that elected these people into the place, do they want him killed? If they don't want him killed, then they should take precautions and ensure that both these persons are not serving them, and take precautions and actions that will remedy the position. You can't just sit back and begin to give excuses. The people that elected T.A., Ikbazo, and the like should rise up. They should rise up. There is no situation in where there is a difficult situation that difficult decisions are not made. That's the reality. So I don't understand why it's always a question of external powers that we are looking at, when that which we are seeking is within our reach. If these people are not doing what they should do, they should be brought to book. They should be spoken to. If need be, the elders should approach them and discipline them accordingly. However you want to stretch the word, discipline is a matter for you. But the reality is that it's just a shame, really. It's a shame. Nobody's speaking up.
Mazi is
unless, of course, all of them are stooges of the situation or the authorities that they are. This is the democracies where people have a right to express themselves, have a right to demonstrate, persuade people. You don't come to demonstrate and you pick up guns and shoot young boys and girls, and everybody sits back and lets it quell. It's unacceptable, and it must be called out for what it is. And until the people in the place are able to call it out and face the consequences, then that's going to continue. I don't believe in all this invincibility of the few people that are cited now and then. I believe the population of the Southeast people is quite substantial. I believe the population of the Southwest people is quite substantial. I believe that the leaders of the country in general are not up to 1 million people, those that are holding political positions. If the nation rise up against 1 billion, they would sit up. When it's the Chinese people demonstrated, the armored tank driver stopped his car and stepped out and joined the demonstration.
But
the man was willing to lay down his life.
You made. Let me come in before you continue. You know, the Chinaman Square example you gave, the driver or the military man in the armored vehicle, he was blocked by a citizen without arms, and he stopped. Do you know that in Nigeria, if you watch that video, it happened in the 80s, I think 89. Anywhere, if the armored vehicle wants to turn right, the guy will turn right to block it. Anywhere he wants to go, he will go and block it there. But do you know that if it's in Nigeria, that armor, you don't dare it. That armor tank will run over you and nothing will happen. That is the problem in Nigeria. You know, as I told you, as I said before, the main issue why there is impunity is because of joining people with different ideologies. They brainwash these people this side, they brainwash the other people this side, so that when you have a genuine cause to rise up, now the other people will not different ideologies. They brainwash these people this side, they brainwash the other people this side, so that when you have a genuine cause to rise up, now the other people will not, or your ethnic background, and there ends everything you want to do. That is why Nigeria is evil. I'm telling you before God and it's evil.
I note all that you have said, but I don't believe that there can be no collaboration. There can be collaboration. The issue that occurred in the NNAMDI'S Square about 30 years ago, it's an indication of that. There are casualties, apart from the fellow who stood in front of the armored tank and eventually the driver came down and the revolution or the issue was resolved positively. The issue is that men ought to be men. We had men who rose up and opposed the colonial masters as they deemed it. There were casualties. We had the man who rose up in defense of Ironsi. I think it's Fajui. There were casualties. The only reason why there's an agitation today for Biafra is simply because Ojukwu rose up and called that situation for what it was. We cannot resign and say that there is no remedy, because that's what you're suggesting. So there are.
Because the remedy I see in it is balkanizing Nigeria. Pure and simple, honestly speaking. Because there is no way.
The remedy would be, as is being called out, the ills of Nigeria, resist the ills of Nigeria. If need be, the people cannot coexist, then let the people walk their different ways. I see the agitation coming from the southwest. I see the agitation coming from the southeast. I even see the agitation coming from the north. Everybody is asking they want to be by themselves. So what needs to be done is to collaborate with these individuals who want to be by themselves.
And that is what is going on. Mazi, let me also say this. Let me bring to your notice.
And then if the Nigerian government wants to actually have a country called Nigeria, then they need to redirect and reorder their activities and intentions.
Mazi, let me
because if everybody in Nigeria was living well, this would not have a reason.
Yes.
Yes, I'm all ears. Go ahead.
Before you go on, can you imagine a governor, a serving governor of Kaduna State, El Rufai, likening the kidnapping of children, school children, by so-called bandits, because all these things are done by the Fulani terrorists. Now, he said those people, they are businessmen. They shouldn't be treated like Mazi Johnathan Kanu. Do you remember when the Minister of Information, is on records, is not spoken or written by us, is carried on the news? Lai Mohammed, they asked him, why can't you bomb all these places? The bandits, the so-called bandits, Fulani headsmen, bandits, they are operating, killing people, kidnapping. He said no, because of they don't want to destroy the flora and fauna, the forests, because of ecology. Listen, but they bombed along with alacrity, as you say. They bombed Biafra land, any part of Biafra land. It doesn't matter. The forest it doesn't matter. Even a serving governor of Imo State was boasting that he will bomb again. He will bomb everywhere. So now, with all these things, El Rufai said that look, they always protect their own. A politician calling killers and kidnappers terrorists, saying that they are doing, it's just they are doing business. They kidnap and you pay ransom and they leave your children. You know, he's defending them. How do you think that with all this, whereas anything that happens in ordinary, you know, self-determination with flag, they see it as a call for war? What do you think if there is this type of abduction of school children in our land? What do you think? All hell would have broken loose. Instead, you see in social media, the other day, you see a Fulani terrorist on video. They were speaking outside, he was speaking outside with laughing, eating and dining with politicians, with a gun and armed to the teeth, and making, they were all laughing. How then do you think that, you know, with the mentality, let me add again, with the mentality of conquest mentality from the Fulani, because for them they are still going on the mission, the unfinished mission of Ottoman Dan Fodio since 1804. You are calling, if you call yourself a Nigerian from South or Middle Belt, they themselves, they believe that they are the owner of Nigeria. Either they own it or nothing. That is why they came to our land. They brought people, Fulani from everywhere. They came to our land for Ruga. They were killing us, raping our children. Our governors, they can't do nothing. The people you are trying to put into, let them do something. They were powerless. I have my sister, my elder sister, every time he complains to me. The Fulani, they are destroying their farm. They will farm, and Fulani, they are destroying everything with their cows. And if they meet the traditional ruler, he said them, nah, this matter pass me. He cannot talk to police because it is a no-go area. They even turn and arrest you. How then what are we still waiting for looking? This is the reason why our leader, you know, brought up this ESN, Eastern Security Network. And you still, all hell broke loose. Where are we going to continue running? If we rise up to protest peacefully with placards, they kill us, and nobody talks. Nobody acts, not only talking, but acting against evil. Nigerians support evil. Mazi, please, over to you.
It comes down to the same thing I was pointing out. You know, when you look at the population distribution of Nigeria, there are about 5 or 6 million Fulani people in Nigeria. There are white multitude of hundreds of millions of Yoruba people in Nigeria. There are a multitude of hundreds of people of the southeastern region in Nigeria. And obviously, you have pointed out that the Fulani man does not have territorial boundaries. So wherever you are as a Fulani man, you're a brethren. That is good for them. I don't have anything against that. I also think that wherever you are as a Yoruba man, to another Yoruba man, you're a brethren. I should think the same applies to the Igbo man and the Eastern man in Nigeria. Wherever you are as an Igbo man, you're a brethren. And so if the Igbo man cannot see that he's a brethren to the next Igbo man and collaborate with him to protect his brethren, then really the problem is not with the Fulani man. The problem truly is with the Igbo man or the Southeastern man. So the Southeastern man needs to call himself to a meeting and resolve their conflict. And if amongst them there are moles, then they should weed those moles. That's the first step you need to take. And then if you present yourself as a block with a voice, then obviously you'll be listened to. Because from all you're indicating to me, the Fulani man is presented himself as a block. He looks after his brethren. So why can't you, the Southeastern man, present yourself as a block and look after your brethren? What they need to do is call a house meeting, clean out their home, ensure that their manifestations are uniform and that their presentations are uniform. Unless you tidy your home, you're going to be sleeping in a cobweb of death. So it's up to the Southeastern man or the Igbo man or whatever you are. You need to collaborate and clean your home. If you cannot clean your home and you're expecting someone else to come in and clean your home, then you're just a dreamer. So they need to tidy up themselves. If they have moles amongst themselves, they should weed those moles. Then we can be taken seriously. There's no point staying up 24 hours and lamenting. Nobody gives you power. You need to tidy up yourself and be strong enough to wrestle and take over power if you have to. Otherwise, you remain complacent and cry from generation to generation. You need to arise and tidy up your home.
And that's
the point.
Mazi, Ipob is here. That is what we are doing in order to tidy up our home.
You need to do that. You don't need to tidy up your home by constantly blaming your neighbor for having a clean home. You get up and emulate what you think is good and do the same. If a group of people who describe themselves by whatever name they go fill your backyard and they are abusing your mothers, your sisters, and your daughters, and you keep lamenting without taking precautionary measures to ensure that doesn't continue, even if it's at a great cost, then you can only have yourself to blame. That's just as simple as it can get.
Mazi, thank you very much, for this conversation. And I don't know whether you have any closing remark before I open my lines for Biafrans to call in.
I don't think if there's going to be calling that it's time to close the remarks. Closing remarks yet. But, all I think is that the Southeastern man should arise. Keep your house clean.
Okay, you know, that is, as I said, okay, it reminds me so that we push a little bit. As I said before, this is why IPOB and what IPOB is doing. You know, it's a very tedious job. It's very, very tedious. I'm telling you.
I recognize the efforts.
First of all, yes. Let me come in here.
Mazi NNAMDI'S Kanu in pointing out and sensitizing people to the ills that are out there. But what about the people that are sensitized?
Yes.
If the people that are sensitized in the majority understand that the symptoms of the disease which is pointing out is still there, that means the disease is not treated. What you really need to do is treat the disease. Treat the disease without the rotten apples amongst yourselves. And then have a new vineyard.
Let me tell you, there are many rotten apples. There are many. Right? You know the problem that is
the number of rotten apples. Let
me interject here. The problem we are having right from after the war, every Biafran, can I say every Igbo man, first of all, as you mentioned in your earlier statement, during the war, Gowon divided us. And, you know, our people are conscious of, you know, I can say clannish in nature. Once we are in one region, all of a sudden they start calling that region, they create states. All of a sudden you see people start answering the name of the states. They give, you know, preference, or they give preference. Even they are still giving preference to the name, the created name they are being called, than their real identity. Is a call for concern. That is something sometimes I think deeply about, because it is not only us that we are states we are created also. In the North States we are created. After all, the Fulani, they don't even recognize the country boundary. They don't take it as something that we, you know, differentiates them from their own kids and kin. That is something that I used to respect them. They defy even European imposed African boundaries, and they make sure that they are still the same. But in our own, look at Ebema from Imo State. They put some parts in rivers. Now for them there are no more Igbo people. You ask, who are you? They say, we are rivers. It's a call for concern. That is why we are talking here day and night to restore our people, restore back the thinking faculty, the common sense of our people. We have Kaduna State, we have Gobe, Jigawa, all these states. You never hear a Fulani man come and say, you ask him, where do you come from? I say, no, I'm a Jigawa Fulani. No. It's only in our land. Although this is a groundwork they did. It's a very, they put this thing right from after the war, so that to make sure that they divide us, there will be gully, not even cracks, gully everywhere, and that is what we are suffering. That is why to bring back our people is a very tedious job, but that is what we are doing. Continue, Mazi.
I have dealt with that. The matter is simply the same. If you need to put your house together, you put your house together. If you have a leaf to borrow from the next neighbor, you borrow the leaf from the next neighbor. I am not unaware of these issues. So these are things that you need to educate your people about. That's why you need to call a home meeting. But I'm not also unaware of the Aru man who says Nwaru Icho, Mpola Icho. The Aru man recognizes an Aru man, whether it's from NNAMDI'S as an Aru man, whether it's from Aru Ajali as an Aru man, whether it's from Aru Afik as an Aru man, whether it's from Aru Umuahia. I think that's the way it is. But if individuals, I think they're the minority, deep down in the heart of the Igbo man, I think he knows he's an Igbo man. Deep down in the heart of the Ibibio man, I think he knows his lot lies with his Igbo brothers. Deep down in the heart of the Efik man, I think he knows his lot lies with the Igbo man. Deep down in the heart of the Okrika and Ikwere man, Kalabari, and what have you, I think they know where their lot lies. The same thing happens to the man from Delta State, even some parts of Edo State. But the reality of it is that you magnify the things that are seemingly wrong. But the reality of the truth is simple. You need to put your house together. You need to educate your people. And to do that, you need to empower your people. You need to create wealth. I think the greatest problem is the privation of wealth. Therefore, you find persons that ought not to go up cap in hand, begging for crumbs. And when they get crumbs, they are mandated to suppress their persons. So you need to take your destiny into your hand. You need to empower yourself. You need to create wealth. I know that if you're coming from the southeast, you're required to score maybe 300 points to get into university. And if you're coming from the north, you're required to score perhaps 10 points to get into the university. This is a means of empowering themselves. So you need to create more schools, get your people to come to school, empower them, educate them. You need to put pressure to open up your seaports. You're all collected in Lagos because that's where the seaport is. You're all collected in Abuja and the north because that's where Julius Berger is and construction is. You need to begin to develop yourself. You need to begin to weed your house of persons that are not in support of your positions. They need to know that the place is not conducive for them to continue to operate the way they are operating. If a man is elected into position and is not serving the cause for which he is elected, he needs to be brought to attention. That I think is the beginning of the solution. We can't live by constantly blaming a man who recognizes his nest of kings. If the Fulani man feels that every Fulani man is his brother, then the Igbo man must feel that every Igbo man is his brother. Then the Southeastern man must feel that every Southeastern man is his brother. There is always a conflict, even in the heavens. Satan took his stand, and those who recognized him went with him. God took his stand, and those who recognized him went with him. You need to take a stand. God can't sit back and be saying Satan is taking over his throne. You rise up to the challenge. That is the course that you need to employ. I respect Nnamdi for pointing out these abnormalities. I understand the criticisms that he has gotten. People are not comfortable with his manner of delivery. But nobody has said that the substance of his delivery is wrong. And I don't see how form can defeat substance. If you agree with the substance of his delivery and you have a better way to deliver it, why don't you teach or join and deliver it in a better way? But to sit down and want the young man to be incarcerated or abused, I don't think that is appropriate. But like I said, we wait to see what the judicial system says. But the real issue is the people themselves. The people themselves.
Mazi, I think
I don't know if you get my point.
Yes, I get your point. Soon I'm going to open my lines. Before I do that, also I want to point. Yes, what you are saying, you're on the right track. You are saying the same thing. The issue is our people in political position. First of all, they impose people against our will. That is number one. Otherwise, why should Anambra election result, for example, the result will be counted in Abuja? Does it make any sense? It doesn't. Okay. Look at the example I gave to you before about how the Fulani headsmen were killing and raping us. We are shouting it here every day. We are urging our governors to form security outfits like Amotekun when they did their own. It was landing in on deaf ears. And our leader formed ESN in order to combat the menace. Because every time we were lamenting, people will come up here and spoke and cry. Oh, they kill. Oh, they have killed one of us in the village. They killed many of us, this and that. They attacked and killed many people in Ozo 1, Enugu. And the governor of the state came out and started complaining, oh, I called Sorok the time of the attack. Attack that took lasted for many hours by not less than 500 to 600 terrorists. Most of them on motorbikes. Tell me, when a governor, the chief security officer of a state, start complaining, crying that we can't do anything, only to pray. Now, what do you think? Our leader, Mazi Johnathan Chinedu, floated ESN in order, out of frustration, and all hell break loose. Even the governor now, the people, they are the people that turn around in order to fight against. They invited the military might in order to kill our ESN, to fight them, bomb them. The people that are clearing our bushes. Do you see what we are fighting, what we are seeing in this fight? That's why I say we are in a messy situation. That's why our leader said the restoration of Biafra is the toughest job. And that is what we are doing. Because first of all, we are acting, we are talking. We are trying to, go to the mindset, the mentality of our people to reset it. Just reset it. The way people reason, we reset it. So that, as you say, people should act. Now people can see the reason for acting. So that while acting, people will not be able to be bought with money, with 1,000 naira or 1 cup of rice. Now people will have dignity. People can be, somebody could be hungry and you give him 1 bag of rice and he will say no, just to buy him, and he will say no. Though I'm hungry, but I'm not going to take this thing. That is dignity. You understand? Because they box out into a situation, very difficult situation. Mazi, go on before I open my line.
The point is a reiteration of what I have said before. It's a matter of you tidying up your home. If your governors are not doing what they should do, then you need to call them to book. You need to call them out. You need to take disciplinary measures. You need to do that. If you elected them in, or if they are forced upon you, you must resist the force upon you. If you elected them in, then you must bring them to book. If you have moles amongst you, then you need to weed it away. If you have your garden and there are weeds in it, you need to clear the weed. Nobody's going to come and clear your garden for you. And I've pointed out the issue of people going up with cap in hand, begging for crumbs. It's simply a question of not understanding your inheritance. So those who appreciate their inheritance should call these people to book. I'm certain it's not impossible to do.
Of course, that is what we are
You must. The issue of anybody in a position of power having been elected into place not doing what he should do, that means that person needs to be brought to a meeting. That's just as simple as it can be. And I'm sure with such meetings where there'll be proper education and understanding of what needs to be done. Why would your northern brethren be able to call his brothers and they listen to him, and you're not able to call your brothers and he listens to you? It simply means you're not taking appropriate measures and not using appropriate words.
Thank you,
It's
Mazi.
time you take yourself up.
Thank you, Mazi. I think I'm going to open up the lines now so that people will call in order to also aid their views on our discussion. Because as I said before, we are unorthodox. We do things in our own way. This is Radio Biafra HAUSA-SERVICE coming to you via Radio Biafra London. Our leader is Mazi Johnathan Kanu, who is still in the dungeon of the Nigerian terrorist government. Today is the 7th day of July 2021. I am here, Mazi Johnathan Chinedu, with Mazi Godwin Aburi Ijomanta Esquire. I will be right back. I'll go on a few minutes break so that when I come back, I will open my lines. Don't go away. Welcome back. This is Radio Biafra HAUSA-SERVICE coming to you through Radio Biafra London. Our lines are now. You can call us on this direct line +1 213 328 6224. I repeat, +1 213 328 6224. Our WhatsApp line is +61 405 142 547. Also on Signal. That line is Signal. You can also call on Signal. Is good. +61 4 142 547. You call as you have listened to our discussion, our interaction with Mazi Godwin Aburi Ijomanta Esquire. You can call us now.
No freedom of worship, no freedom of religion, justice denied.
Caller on direct line, you are the first caller. Welcome to the program. Can you hear me? Caller.
Can you hear me?
The whole world is listening. Please go on. Caller on WhatsApp. Please hold on. I'll come to you. Caller on WhatsApp. Go on. Caller on direct line.
Yes, Mazi Johnathan, everybody, we made the our baby is not talking over 4 days.
He will come, he will talk. There are many things. Go on. There.
Mazi Johnathan, that's our elder brother that is with you there. May you go to and bless you. We have said it all. Mazi Johnathan, Biafrans all over the world elected. If we are joking with our life, if we are joking with our generation, this generation, if any Biafrans all over the world, anywhere you are, as long as you know we are a Biafra, if you feel that we are this generation, tell them not the calendar and please, that he is joking, then you all are joking because I'm not joking. Tell them not the calendar is just joking. See, Biafra restoration is too much to carry a direct. Mazi Johnathan, kwesịrị kwuo maka ọkwa mmebi wema People don't know what is happening. Pretend, there's no way pretend can hold this generation of. It's a lie. America can hold and never hold Biafra, hold stage. It's a lie. We are a race. And we must, well, we all know apology they need God. Biafrans all over the world. Take care, big and write down this message. Before Magani Makata Abugala, Akunu Hurulu, Biafrans, forget about every other nation. We are Biafra. Akunu Hurulu, chapter 22. Every Biafran, anywhere you are, if you are a religious leader, if you are a governor, if you are a senator, as long as you know that you are a Biafran, now that hey, Korea from Pop, as long as you know, both start to start and start to east, we are Biafran. Study this message. Luke chapter 22, from verse 1 to end, very, very important. But do you see verse 6, verse 11, verse 35, underline and verse 36. Study it. Our leader is repeating that history of Jesus. If you don't have any money at all, buy knife and chop it to everybody point, chop it. Mazi Johnathan said that 26, very, very important. Then they must come out before that. If we decide, see, all these governors, any of you people that dare us, that dare to go to Biafra, this message today, my name is Okechukwa. I'm from Umuawali province, Biafra land. I come from Aba province, Biafra land. The ancient land of Ndembulande, Ketalang, Beben Menoko, Amadu Amabu. They were in a land of Chireka Makono, Dara. Akono, Exodus chapter 20, from verse 1 to end. When I see verse 1, verse 2, very, very important. Only to go to Kabba, that God that created you, Mazi Johnathan. That God that created every human being. Verse 2, verse 23 and verse 24. Shekena, I want to Jesus to get a low one. I want to Mohammed to get a low one. All to go to Kabba, Yapana and Gasai, Mazi Johnathan. I can't come to catch Koniko, Fulani. We Fulani, we are coming. We are coming. You see Joshua chapter 3, from verse 1 to end. When I see verse 7 and verse 10, we are advancing. If you know you are a Biafra soldier in America, you are a Biafran soldier, any force where you be all over the world, get prepared to restore your fatherland. Joe Biden cannot do anything. Pretend if you mess up, we throw up and when I see 1 Samuel chapter 15. Okay, Mazi Johnathan, camera there. Upon 1 Samuel chapter 15 from verse 1 to end. When I see verse 22, verse 23 and verse 29. Very, very important. Obedience is better than sacrifice. Mazi Johnathan, there are consultation in the prison.
Thank you.
Where you see Mazi Johnathan, as whiter than white and whiter than snow. But I'm never going to say, I don't know, you don't put that. Also, to go to Cabin, opening for a castle, going to Caro, Mother Bleak, and no one. After some guy goes at the ticket after 3. For me, I said, 8 and 9.
Mazi, round up. Thank you very much.
Like, no, now for, yeah.
Oh, hey, Biafra. Please, our people should be, once I say it's okay, round up, you do it, please. Stop making me to shout, please. Caller on WhatsApp, welcome to the program. Because many people are calling. Caller on WhatsApp, can you hear me?
Is it, I'm on, I think I'm on.
No, I mean caller on WhatsApp. There is on WhatsApp, and there is caller on the Signal. I'm talking about WhatsApp first before coming to Signal. Signal, hold on. What is happening? Caller on WhatsApp. Are you still here?
Mazi Johnathan.
Yes, welcome to the program. Mazi, are you not hearing
No,
me?
Mazi Johnathan.
Yes, go on. It's you. Go on. Mazi, go on. It's you I'm talking to. Caller on WhatsApp. Go on.
Mazi Johnathan, my name is Mazi Johnathan, recording you from the United Kingdom. Mazi, there's one point you made that I want to talk about.
Is this a radio before?
You know, you said
please caller on direct.
we are
hold on.
here
I'll bring you in.
to
Please,
educate
hold
our
on.
people because our people have missed the road. The point you made is that we the are, especially the Igbo extraction, are the one that want Nigeria most. And that's why after the war, after they killed us, the remaining ones came out and started step by step developing Nigeria. They went to North, they went to West, they went to Midwest, and they went everywhere developing Nigeria, building. Anywhere you go, you call it your home. You will see people that is from Enugu, from Anambra, you will come back for Christmas. Before you know it, he say, I'm going. When he gets to Lagos, I'm back home. Because he believes that is his home. Now, we are tired of that one Nigeria. I had our brother, his advice and all what have you, but let that advice, I want them to know that the people you want to call and talk to, they are scattered. These people, they are scattered. They are sellouts. They only know about their stomach and their family and nothing more. It's possible to call somebody back. The only person they wanted to call back was the only politician that speaks for Ipob people, which is Abaribe. I remember when his people collected money and gathered the ones to record Abaribe because he's talking to the Buhari. So this is what you will see in that country called Nigeria. Have you ever seen any politician who resigned? Have you heard of resignation? Not even only politician. Have you ever heard of resignation again in that country?
Impossible.
But this Britain that is controlling them, because that they are, let me call it, is equivalent to Minister of Health in Nigeria. They call it here Secretary of Health, so that your head will not grow. Oh, I'm minister. Here they call them secretary. Because that he embraced his girlfriend in his office during COVID time. He made the law that people should not stay together. But he went and embraced his girlfriend. He resigned. And it's journalists that pinpoint it out, not politicians. The journalists of this country. Because the journalist of that Nigeria, I will say, is the one supporting the evil. Together with the police, that are, especially the police that are living in one bedroom in that their barrack, they will be the one to go and shoot four people on the road. So what are we talking about? What we need is the only thing they hear is force. Force. Kill them as they are killing you, kill them. If you see when Kanu from the Eastern Security, all of them, they went behind. You look at the way that this useless man in any good death. Oh, it's good, but let them not use it to start, fighting other people. That is inciting violence somewhere. So they are not hearing. We can't talk to them because they are scattered. They are above everybody. So, my brothers and sisters, we must focus. We must get this Biafra. Our children will not come to suffer what we are suffering. We must get this Biafra. Mazi Johnathan, may God continue to bless everyone that is supporting and making sure that Biafra is restored. And every sabot, every person that is talking against Biafra, then his generation will wipe out. In the mighty name of Chukwuka, my prayer.
He said, Mazi, he said,
thank you, Mazi.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Caller on signal, please. You can go on now. Thank you for holding on. Caller on signal. Can you hear me? Caller on signal. Can you hear me? Caller on signal. Are you still there? Mazi Ifeanyi Chukwuma Dabuchi. Caller on signal.
Hello?
Caller on signal. I'm talking about. Caller on WhatsApp. Hold on, please. Caller on WhatsApp. Hold on. Caller on signal. Are you there? I don't really understand. They are listening to the device instead of listening to the phone.
Please, you can go on now. Thank you for holding on signal.
Caller on signal. I think I will go. Let me pick caller on direct line first, please. Welcome to the program. Caller on direct line. Can you hear me? Caller on direct line. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
The whole world is hearing you. Please go on.
Thank you very much, Mazi Johnathan, my big brother. I appreciate you so much for a good job. I appreciate our leader and Biafrans worldwide. Mazi, your brother would collect from my location. Mazi, there's something I need to say here. You can remember, Biafrans can remember when I just want to put some reference from what our brother you were anchoring this evening session with. I want that our brother, if he's listening, to understand that there is a time our leader went to a negotiation with these Eastern governors. He went there and said to them, go to Abuja, tell them, this is what my people want. And they came there in that governor's lodge with a bag of Ghana must go. He rejected it. It's of course. And the same governors that my brother was saying we should hold them responsible, and if they don't know what to do, we should talk to them. My brother, the same governors are the ones who conspire, who tell Fulani to bring soldiers to kill our leader in his house.
Please, caller on WhatsApp and signal.
Hello.
Hold on, I'll come to you. Somebody on direct line is speaking. Go on, Mazi, you go to go.
The same governors that bring up Operation Python 1 and 2 and 3, the same governors, they are the ones, my brother, if you are listening, they are the ones who conspire within Yamwodo to go and kill Mazi Kanu in his house. And today, they are not talking about the people they kill with the trauma, his dad and his mom and our people were killed in the same killed that day. Would they be talking about Raya? Would they be talking about the jump bell? We are living with hyenas and jackals. We are living with the dead people in Nigeria. Believe you me. The same governors that this man pleaded with them. What they do is to go and kill him. Mazi, what I want to tell Biafrans this night, to everybody should stop saying, even Biafrans, go to social media, go to any radio station, any television station, any channel, whoever he is, who is saying about Mazi Kanu trial, tell the bastard that Mazi Kanu is no good. There is nothing like trial. Mazi Kanu is not standing any trial. They should release him and release him to go back where he came from. As simple as ABCD. I am not in the people who will say Mazi Kanu should trial. Start trial for what? Start trial for what? What is our trial for? I am asking Biafrans. What is he trial? Is he going to stand? Which trial? What did he commit? Do you know, Biafrans, do you know that the guy that bombed Madala, the guy that bombed the church in Madala, was released in the court by Buhari when he was alive? Do you know that? This injustice are becoming, it has becoming something else. There is two laws, one in the east, one for the south, and one for the north. There is two laws in Nigeria, if you don't know. One is for the southern people and one for the northern people. Our leader is not standing any trial. Our people should go to social media and flood it. Mazi Johnathan Chinedu should be released and sent back to where he come from. As simple as ABCD. This is what we are going to be telling the whole world. As for Kenya, as for Uhuru Kenyatta, I have told the people, I have told our people, put your eyes on the ground and let's watch anytime he comes to Europe. If he goes, we will know that we are not IPOB. Our leader was adopted. He was adopted. He was kidnapped and tortured for eight good days by the authority and by the government of Kenya. A man that was going on his own, who gives Kenya the right, Kenya government the right to hold him, who gives the Kenya right, torture him and return him to Nigeria to be killed. Our leader is not going to be. It's Nigeria. Mazi, I want to tell our people is that everybody should remain calm and let's watch how he plays. Tuko Kadara is in our side. Anyhow Nigeria want it, we will give it to them. Anyhow he want it. Mazi Johnathan will never die. Nothing will happen to him. I believe that. You see these Fulani people, Erifai made it clear. Erifai, you know, I don't know if they think the international community are stupid. He said that bandits are doing their normal business. Oh, you will station your brothers in the road. They will kidnap other ethnic group and put them in the bush and collect ransom. You said they are doing their business, and you are releasing all the Boko Haram, giving them amnesty, recruiting them in Nigerian police and civil servants. And Mazi Johnathan who never kill anybody. You are not him and put him in hell. Igbo, Teta Nora, Mazi, thank you for giving me this opportunity.
There were Mazi. It's really sad when somebody will open his mouth and say kidnappers, killers are doing their normal business of kidnapping and asking for ransom. It's highly absurd. Caller on Signal. Are you there? Can you still hear me now? Caller on Signal. Are you there?
Yes, I'm hearing you. Are you hearing me?
Yes, the whole world is hearing, please.
Well, I was hearing you the other time, but it was a technical malfunction, but we weren't hearing me.
Okay,
so
go on.
All right. My name is Ifanchuku Madabuchi, and I'm calling you from my location here. My brother, I salute all Biafrans all over the world, and our leader, of course. God bless him. God preserve him for us. And I salute and I greet you for your guest tonight. You know, because certain things have to be said and said authoritatively and repeatedly. So that makes sense. I want
please,
to touch
caller on direct line. Please hold on. I'll bring you in. Okay.
So I want to touch on the part of you know what he said about our nationality. How do we relate to each other? You know, if any other ethnic nationality relate with each other anyhow, let us, the old eastern region, and any other person of us who is gerrymandered, be it in Benue, be it in Kogi, whoever, know ye where you belong, know ye your brethren. So then we unite like that. Anything that's happening to such people, anywhere they are, they will know that they have people they can reckon on. And the issue of there was a man, he was being kind of mischievous, although he is kind of he's a duplicitous, disingenuous Nigerian political what you can call hopefuls. You know, people who are foolishly hopeful about Nigeria. He was seeing what will be his situation as a minority in Biafra. Again and again, for the umpteenth time, there will be no minority in Biafra.
People, let me tell you, I understand what you're saying. I know these people, they know what they are doing. They will come and speak. You think they are with us on our cause? They are more poisonous than the Fulani.
Yes.
I'm telling you before God
Yes.
and man. I don't. Sometimes
Yes.
I wonder how our people can be easily deceived by sentiments.
Swear.
These people, I don't even. These are more poisonous. They will come nearer to you. You know, talk on your. Oh, you say, oh, we are together. From there, they will start. All they do is to try to destroy through inside, through within.
Yes. Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
That is.
Yes.
They will try to get the consent of our people. Oh, we are together. Now, from there, they start injecting poison. That is what they do. I know.
Yes.
That. Go on.
Yes. So what this man is doing is what a person of that caliber, any person for that matter, can say to any IPOB man. Oh, this issue, I'm confused about it. What is the stand of IPOB in it? People have asked me such questions, and I've tried in my own capacity to answer. If I couldn't answer, I will go to a superior who can give me the answer and give to the person. So the assurance I'm reaffirming to Biafrans in the air today is that there will be no minority in Biafra. The Ibibio man, the Anang man, the Isoko, the Urobo, the Ishekiri, even Idoma. Every ethnic nationality in Biafra, we have what you call their own parliaments. They make their own laws in their own language. They manage their resources, and we have a central government. And so let nobody deceive you by telling you any cock and bull story about minority. It is dead on arrival. And again, my main cause of calling your guest touched on something, saying that we should put our house in order and things like that, and change things that are not working for us as a people. You know what I want to tell Biafra today, and it is a ageless fact that any race, any people that play the lamb, the wounded, the soft one, the crying one, you will go extinct. You will go extinct. You have to bring up the eye you used to survive, and that is the point we are now. Let's those people who are thinking that they will pocket us. Somebody is writing that they have pocketed the Hausas, and the Hausas know where they belong. That the Igbos are unruly, but that we shall tell them that we will take our independence and our freedom by ourselves. We are not, my brothers. Mazi Johnathan, you touched on something when you were discussing with your guest. If Mazi Kanu, if our leader was a blonde British, that's a blonde Englishman, kidnapped in Kenya, taken to Nigeria, will the British government and the British consular in Lagos telling us that we give him a consular access? What is consular access? That your citizen is kidnapped. So what I want to conclude is that only the restoration of Biafra will give our people a home, a country that will come for you, whatever happens to you abroad. We know by tradition, we don't leave our people abroad, even if they are dead, we go and take them. So any Biafra, anybody from the old eastern region listening to me, know ye that it's only Biafra will come for you in life or death, in poverty or in wealth. We go and take our people who are suffering in other countries, we bring them home, because we are princes and princesses, and we are kings and queens. So we cannot be go and scavenging all over the world, or dying and being thrown away abroad. Only if you restore Biafra, you restore your dignity as a human being on this earth. Otherwise, Fulani will do you what they do to Hausa, and pretend will be speaking nonsense grammar about consular access. What the hell is that? Thank you, my brother, and God bless you all.
And you too. Thank you, my brother, and remain blessed. Caller on WhatsApp, thank you for holding on. Mazi, welcome to the program. Can you hear me? Caller on WhatsApp, are you there? What's up today? Caller on WhatsApp, are you?
Can I go ahead?
I have been speaking, talking. It seems you people on WhatsApp and just.
I can hear you.
Go on, please. Go on.
Can I go ahead?
Go ahead, go on.
Can I go ahead?
Okay. Almost here, Biafra. Go on.
Yeah, Mazi, for the last caller, for what he said about minority, our leader said the minority against who? In our Biafra, we don't have a minority.
Mazi,
as he said, it's very, very good there.
Mazi, let me ask this question before you continue. I said, let me ask this question before you continue. Let me say this. Were these people minority before the advent of the British? Where was this minority emanated when Britain started what we call the Woolings Minority Report? They raised the consciousness. The Aba women riots you are hearing is mostly even from Ibibio Ijo women that gathered themselves that time in unity. Nobody was a minority. Nobody. Oh, how can you know? As I said, these people, Nigerian politicians, they know how to enter into the head of the people. They mastered that art. Very poisonous. They are very poisonous. All these things they are doing, saying, all just for their own personal benefit, so that they can. Okay, you're a minority. Okay, we'll be giving you 3% of oil in your land, so that now it doesn't concern others. It's only us, so that you be, my brother, go on, please, go on.
All you have to know is this our radio. This our radio and IPOB have done a great work. All our people now heading to Eastern region to build house. No one now. At least before we have a 70% building out of our land, but today now 70% are building in our land. This radio is doing a great work. I hail IPOB and our leader. But Mazi, what made me to call tonight? Number one is I want to advise all our Biafrans hardcore. There's a lot of fake news. Somebody will be in his home, smoking, drink beer, ginger, and come and speak rubbish, and they are listening. As an hardcore Biafra, when you listen to fake news, you will know. Don't share your enemy's video or your enemy's voice record. As they holding our leader, you cannot expect him to get weight. You can be giving money. They are giving people money to speak. That they bring their fake news. Before our leader, before our barrister meet our, there's a lot of fake news. Some saying Czech Republic, some saying Brazil, some saying Singapore. IPOB members, we have to know we are in struggle. And one thing again, I want to tell our people. When you enter flight, when you book a ticket in airline, that airline, if it is like Kenya Airways, the Kenya from their head office, they've been doing so person are entering our flight, so date. When this plane landed here in India, the Kenya official will take the list of the passengers to the Indian security, hand it over to the Indian security. Understand now? So when some people are talking, our leader, some people betrayed him. Our leader have not said so. You cannot be speaking our leader's mind. Allow him. Our barrister are seeing him. His brother is there. Our members are there. Never accusing any IPOB member. You cannot be using somebody who is bossing you in boss or calling you for fake news to be fighting yourself in your struggle. It's not done like that. Allow anybody who do this, who hand on this, our leader will say it. We will know. But let us not bring in accusing people, those who will be working as it does silly. Remember, we take an oath on what we are doing. Anybody who go against our oath will die. Let us not accuse you. Let some people online, I don't know if it's the actual member of that people, but our member don't accuse anybody. Enter online.
start work, start making contact. There's one music said Biafra bonike, I nepenkusirike. We are trained, we don't have anything our way, we crush it. Don't allow yourself to be used. There's a lot of money they are bringing out to divide us, but we have a radio Biafra, nobody can do it. If you are those people on phone, stop it. Or going on propaganda. I would be that. Our and the member of not to continue your work with everybody how must be on deck. This is a challenge. Not every time you eating food with me. When it is another way, it is like that. This is time of working hard to have this going on, all the whole world supporting us. Why can't you support us on this time? You are bringing, they said, I hear. This is not how to do freedom fighter. If you are among these people doing this, resist from that. It cannot help you. Mazi, this is all I want to say by this time. All hail Biafra.
Almost hail Biafra. Thank you very much. What is happening? Most of these people doing this, they are not even IPOB members. They are not family members. I'm telling you, I will assure you that. These are mischievous set of people. You know, because the Nigerian government have dished out money. That's it. Caller on direct line. I have caller on direct line. Are you still there?
Yes, I'm here, Mazi Johnathan.
Welcome to the program.
Mazi Johnathan, my name is Chris. Thank you. My name is Christopher Nnadede.
Welcome.
First of all, I have to thank one of your listeners that have my telephone on by my head. Probably you can say 24 hours. I'm an old retired man. I'm founded. And I enjoy always listening to all of you. One of the reasons I'm calling you, the what actually got me excited to call you right now is calling to acknowledge the man you spoke with. His name, Godwin Abudi. Am I correct by his name?
Yeah. Godwin Abudi.
Okay. That you two listened to him so well that you almost never wanted to let him go. And I'm so proud that we have such people, well composed, so knowledgeable. He said so many things, and I'm sure you liked all of them. I did too. Well, I classify him a philosopher, but I don't know whether he could be a king, because most of the advice he gave you you were waiting to see if you can get a man like that, because our vice president, we all are so much. But in a house, time for meeting, was waiting to hear also him tell you that he is going home to call a meeting. He is going to do this or do that. Jonathan, this time is the time for activity. This is no more time for talking. This is no more time for philosophy. This is no more time for all this I need to put right verses in a Bible. I need to make noise. I am suggesting something to you. Want my suggestion one, when I change activity, so that the Kanu here and I got no now only Kuben. So in natural, when actions are going on, that there is something new doing, and those activity, and that is my suggestion is. For your line, anybody who is calling John or any other Mazi who is a broadcaster, first of all, you have to qualify that he had no contribution to our cause. We will begin to raise. All of you should convert yourself as money collectors for Biafra. We are no more going to do all this talking and we'll keep on rhetoric and everyone there and I'm the game. We need people. Just again. No I be under my no secret. Secret. I heard thousands of people talking. And then they're just laying on their bed on chairs. There's nothing secret about it. I actually know by now that in Nigeria. We want to begin to hear people call this and say it's open. And we would like to follow them and make sure it happens. And I actually on the we want to hear that we will explode somewhere. And I meant number one, we give a finance call, say finance call, and that any phone person on there. After saying his name, I contributed to the fund coffers of Biafra. Because I'm an old man heading to my 80s. Immediately, NNAMDI Kanu may announce the December 12th. And then, that was the time I knew that Biafra, because there was news all over the world that Biafra is coming. We didn't know until announced ES. That was coming of Biafra. Biafra went in Haiti. And so, let me tell you, immediately on that announcement, on Social Security, I don't get more than $1,000 a month. I immediately an annuity. The second annuity immediately. I like to give you my name and only tell you I check her up. I get $50 from that, my one little money that is not even enough to pay my rent. Every month, it will continually be going out of my little food money for as long as I live, for as long as Biafra we are fighting for it. So I would like to hear that everyone, all these people calling you, first of all, you give them what I call finance call. Your number one thing is, hey, what is your finance call? I donated to Biafra. I don't know how much I'm paying. I want $20. $20. But someone, now I won't be spending our body by carry. No, it's not around here. Now call all those things. Now Brian Chineke and our we already know all this. And so please, my brother, and I am calling for a narrative change. And because that is the way I get you, man. Mazi Johnathan Chinedu, or Dinto, but at the same time, they will make sure that hundreds of Johnathan Chinedus, and we are here. And the narrative on your program should change from today. I listened to his wisdom. He was so okay.
No, I'm not cutting you off, because we have captured what you are saying. So
I am concluding. Didn't tell me that. So please could you allow me to round up?
Round up, please.
Thank you, sir. I think I live in Los Angeles just like you. I'm rounding up on the same man, Aburi, because I think that man has a lot to offer this organization. And he is trying not to act like he's staging a coup or taking over, because his wisdom is so much. So I would like to also pass it to him. I'm sure he's listening to my voice. Let him be an activity person. Let him be an actor. And let him stop being a talker, because his wisdom is so much that but I'm sure you do. He's asking us to go and deal with all these people named delay. and then he doesn't have a way he just gave a prescription. He doesn't show us the pharmacy where we can buy the medicine. So I indulge into everything you say. I'm not going to make for this call. Wherever you are, do what you think what it is. Jaka got for that meeting. Be not clean in your house, and we'll praise you. Thank you very much,
Thank
Jonathan.
you. Thank you, ma. This is a family radio anyway. Caller on WhatsApp. Thank you for holding on. Can you hear me? Caller on WhatsApp.
Yes, I can hear you. Mazi Johnathan, good evening, sir.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you, sir. My name is Wanda Gregory. I am calling from the Netherlands, sir.
Welcome to the program. Go on.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I have before I make some announcements for our emergency meeting on Sunday. First and foremost, I want to say thank you very much for your effort, for your hard work. I also want to say that God to protect our leader who is going through hell because of us and our unborn generation. I say may Chukwu Kabiama grant him the strength that he needs at this moment, as we will be here praying and doing all that we can do to make sure that he's out from that place.
See?
I will go on to make the announcement. The Ipob family in the Netherlands will be having a general meeting, an emergency meeting on Sunday, the 11th of July. The address is Egoli, number 9, and the time is 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. I repeat, Ipob family in the Netherlands are having emergency meeting on the Sunday 11th. The venue is Egoli, number 9, and the time is 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. We urge all Biafrans and lovers of freedom to be there. It is a challenge that has been thrown to us. They are going to size us. They want to know our weight, and they will see our weight. Mazi, having made this announcement, which is one of the most important, I want to chip in just few things. I'm not going to take too much time. And Mazi, please don't allow people to take too much time, because a lot of people are calling. We are in a critical time. 2, 3, 4 minutes is enough.
Many people are calling. Many people, honestly.
Yes. Okay, Mazi, I want to chip in our brother who just who called before me now said the same thing. Ipob family worldwide should cease saying that anybody betrayed our leader. Our leader have not said so. We don't want anyone to use that avenue to disorganize us. Ipob family should understand our leader told us that there is conspiracy against us. Ipob family should take note. I don't want to see it in anybody's platform again saying that anybody betrayed our leader. Our leader has not said anything like that. Until we hear from our leader. Right now, our main problem should be how our leader is going to come out from that zoological republic of the zoo. That is what we have to be worried about now, not who betrayed our leader or who betrayed our leader. And if you ask me, I will tell you nobody betrayed our leader, because our leader gave us. If you are in the spirit and you follow Mazi Johnathan Chinedu, this is 4 years now that he came out from. He reappeared after they wanted to kill him, and he escaped for his life. Mazi never gave us. Yes, sometimes he do say we should pray, but Mazi never declared from Psalm 1 to Psalm 150. Before a spiritual man embarks in a dangerous journey, I think Mazi knew what he perceived that something like this was going to happen. I want all Biafrans to go and listen to Mazi's last broadcast, what he said, and stop pointing accusing fingers. That having been said, I still want to chip in something. I stumbled on a post a brother made today. He was saying that those Biafrans in Biafra land, if you can't go to Abuja, sit at home. Mazi, this is not my place to say. I don't know if you can help me send this message to DOS. I think it's a good suggestion. Okay. Okay, Mazi. Okay. I just joined. I didn't even hear what the topic was. I was just coming back from back from the supermarket. You know. So another thing another thing, Biafrans that are going to Abuja on 26th should be very, very, very careful, because we have seen that Nigeria is a terrorist country. Nigeria is they might set you people up. If you have money, if you will go to offenders before time, please do so. You should not go attack in one bus. They will attack you on the way. Be smart and do the needful. Be very smart. We have to be ahead of these people. If you have money, you want to go a day or two before don't go and pack yourself in what they will not stop you on the way and shoot all of you and nothing will happen. You know them. They are terrorists. It has been known to the whole world. That's what else did I write down that I wanted to say? I think that is all that I want to say for now. I will be calling to see we will be calling to be advising our people at this critical time what we have to do. Everybody should be in prayers for Mazi. I strongly believe in my spirit that nothing is going to happen to our leader, and that our leader knows what he's doing. This is the pure thing. He's a great man. We have to any person that is the Kanu, just like Mazi said, I can see that there no. You understand? Because Nigeria, nobody will be agitating. Nobody will be agitating. If Nigeria is good, nobody will be agitating. You understand? I want such a country happen. Our next generation, they will never. That is when they say your ancestors are witch. And that's something that people ancestors go ahead after. That is what witch is all about. To leave your next generation in that condition of Nigeria, it is an abomination before Chukwuka Biafra. So we must do the needful. Mazindo, let me not take your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, and God bless you, sir.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Remain blessed. I think you gave advice and you flaunted your advice. So. To round up as you wanted.
I wanted such a country happen. Our next generation.
Yes, Mazi Johnathan Chinedu from here. Good evening, Biafrans and lovers of. Thank you very much. I think first of all, I love your work this night, and more especially that is it a legal expert or a lawyer you brought this evening to discuss. The earlier stage I was listening to him, and at some point when you put out some critical question, I think he reverted back to make some correction, because in the first place, by the way, my name is Pastor Jack, calling from my location, and because our leader was abducted, and this was not the first time the Nigeria state has done that, and secondly, just like our lawyer said, our leader have announced to the world that he's going to appear before the court, and he promised to defeat the Nigerian government because they don't have any case against him. Because all those frivolous charges are bogus for nothing. Our leader never committed any of them. In spite of that, the Nigerian state presidency sent his army, his killing squad, to come and invade our leader's house and killed more than 28 persons. It's on video, like he said, it's on record. And divinely, our leader escaped the assassination. Anybody coming out to say our leader John Bell, I will simply describe that person to be an idiotic individual. Even though you're a lawyer, I don't give a dime. Because common law, all of us have the understanding, at least we have done that as a good cause. So for you to wake up, looking at the circumstance surrounding the living of our leader, and you still say our leader John Bell, that means you are a quack lawyer, you do not know anything. And apart from that, an application was filed by our defense team challenging the bail vacation the federal government brought against our leader on the excuse that he got bail. Whereas court refused to entertain that application. Questioning why did Nigeria have to send nothing to come and invade the house of our leader and kill more than 28 people in that house. The court never entertained it to today. And the federal government, being the prosecuting team, has never responded. And you are talking about jumping bail, whereas you know that the same prosecuting team, the Nigerian government, led or committed a crime that led to our leaders seeking a safe help or refuge for his life, because it was declaring to the whole world. It is on video. They never knew by the action. I remember they came with their denial, saying that they saw a truck loaded with explosive. Till today, the same court of Mintayako never entertained that application from our defense team, asking the government why they send army to invade Afarugu, invade the palace of our leader's father, killing more than 28 people. Which, if they have killed our leader, peradventure, that same court wouldn't have entertained the case, asking why they assassinated somebody that has case with them, that want to come and face the case. And they left that and be discussing another thing. Secondly, our leader, a direct and authentic evidence who testified that these people are abducted. Our lawyer has issued that statement, explaining what transpired. At the point of exit from Kenya, our leader was abducted by Kenyan authority. So Kenya government coming out to deny is another mockery and indictment on their own. And there's one thing they never knew. They never knew that Ipob is in possession of the footage of everything that happened there, because as was said by our lawyer, that they have their video evidence in case they are denying, because they thought they are going to be smart. But you know what? When you think you know everything, there are still certain things you don't know, more especially when you are committing crime illegally. You abducted a citizen of another country and peradventure move him against his will into Nigeria, and somebody is saying you are waiting Nigeria to come and give a state, to come and give the true state of where they abducted our leader. And our leader, as a direct evidence and witness, told you where he was abducted, because even though you check the track of that travel, you will see it that it was in Kenya, and we still have the video. What else are you waiting for Nigeria to come and tell you, whereas you have heard from our leader directly, and our lawyer have released the statement making it plain and known to you and to the public? What are you waiting? Are you waiting for the death
they are adding his name, presidency, to come and tell you what? Is Kenya trying to deny because they never knew? We have more than evidence to prosecute them at the International Criminal Court. And they don't want to mention the other supposedly Westerners that are involved in this kangaroo abduction of our leader. They never knew. And they never knew we were going to get to that point. And that is why Kenya have to deny. And personally, in this one we are making, if you're a Kenyan in Biafra land, better leave our land. Because it's not going to augur well. We cannot see you with our two eyes, our land. Where your government committed this kind of atrocity and crime against over 70 million Biafran. We will not use our eye and see you in our land. If you are in Biafra land, you better leave. Because anything you see, you will take it. We will fight Kenya at all levels. And we pay. This is not the time when they abducted Omoro Duko with crate and brought him back. He can't do that to Biafra and escape. Now, having said that, just like you see the last caller that say, if you are going to Abuja, let me tell you, please stop making that call. Telling anybody you are going to Abuja. Don't use your line and make call and tell anybody you are going to Abuja. Use a secure social media platform. And like our sister said, you can go ahead of them. And I want to make this call that all Biafrans should shut up your cease. Close your business, close your market, close everything, including school. Shut down Biafra that very day. Everybody must stand with our leader. Whether you are going to Abuja or you are not going to Abuja, is a suggestion, not an order. That everywhere in Biafra land should be locked down that very day. And you know what? We are not going to give up. We will give our life and bring our leader out. Nigeria will burn. It's not a joke. We can't give up. It's never done, except there's no longer anybody living. And for politicians, it needless reminding you that election will not hold in our land. And after dealing with you one after the other, you will come to understand that this journey we have commenced, there is no going back. Because some of you are still doubting, but you will come to understand. I love the fact that the Fulani people have attacked you in your useless meeting of the Southern governors. You are talking about presidency coming to the South. No, you will continue to fool yourself. But then you see, those of you that are part of this orchestration of evil against both our leader and Biafrans, we will make the land uncomfortable for you. It's either you go to exile or you will kick the bucket. There's no two ways about it. Nobody will stop Biafra. God on our side, we will fight with our last blood, and Biafra shall come in our time. Mazi Johnathan, thank you very much. That's just my contribution tonight. Okay.
Thank you, Mazi. Jack, Pastor Jack, I remain blessed. I think I am going to cut this program. I have a notice, I have an emergency meeting, please. I think this is where I'm going to cut the program till tomorrow by the grace of Chukwu Kapiama. Therefore, I don't know before I cut the program, before I stop. I don't know whether Mazi, you're there. You have anything to say? Just a very few minutes. Honestly, I have a meeting, very important, which I need to attend.
Is that for me?
Yes, Mazi Godwin. Hope you have the comments of...
it's Apuri here again.
Yes, please, your closing remarks, please. Just 2 minutes, please.
I think we are on the same point. I have been misunderstood in some of the comments I have had been made, and I can understand the overflow of emotion and the references made to myself as a quack, but those things are absolutely usual in an issue such as this. But as a way of clarification, it should make clear that I recognize and I pointed out in the time I spoke that the assault on Nnamdi Kanu's Mazi's house, and the killing and causing of damage to property and casualties that ensued thereafter is unexcusable, and it's an abuse of process. And that a man in that situation who has suffered such harassment is entitled to humanitarian protection. But I guess the overflowing emotions of the last commentator didn't allow him to quite grasp the substance of my delivery. Well, the point is the same. Everybody's speaking the same thing. As I pointed out, there are about 6-7 million Fulani men. There are less than 1 million officers or elected administrators and leaders in Nigeria. If we have over 70 million people in the southeast and 5-6 million of them show up and make a clear demonstration and statement in Abuja, it should resonate. It should resonate. But the point remains, really, which from my personal viewpoint, that we need to keep our house together. We cannot expect third parties to come and do this for us. Of course, there is an overflow and a riot of emotions, but all of this is not unexpected, but they need to be harnessed and directed properly. The crucial point at present is that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is incarcerated, and all efforts must directed to ensuring that he's properly represented. And that means every true Igbo man who is a solicitor, an advocate of Nigeria, what is onion, should render his opinion, support as best as he can. Every true man, by that I mean a man and a woman who is a legal mind, because we don't have women in the profession, we have gentlemen in skirts. They should all rise up, for the cry-on call has been made. It is either we direct Nigeria right, or Nigeria collapses. Because the disease or maladies which Nnamdi Kanu speaks of, the symptoms are everywhere. And unless the cure is applied, the case is bound to die. That's my sum up.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. I remain blessed. One thing is this, because this is the Nigeria could never be directed right. That is the thank you very much. Anyway, Nigeria will never be directed or redirected. It is impossible. It is highly impossible. We have tried. Our late leader, Odimegwu Ojukwu, he said, we have tried to live as Nigerians that are created by Britain. We try to be what they want us to be, but it is impossible. It's impossible. We have tried. They are limiting our potentials. If we speak, they say, no, everybody is marginalized. No. They cover it like that. This is what they have been using in making sure that we continue being limited potential-wise. Anyhow, once you speak, they say, no, it's not only Biafrans are marginalized. Go to Borno and see poverty. Go to Gwagwarada and you see poverty. And, this is heinous. The way people argue or the way they want to push people to reason is very, very bad and mischievous. They will also tell you, but even the, you see, boss, they are even the most richest, but they are still complaining. What are you We are, it's just like you are riding a bicycle, a bike, and I have a jet fighter. I mean, a jet. And you think that, you know, we need the same distance to function. Bicycle rides on the ground, jet flies on air. If the jet is not provided with that A to fly, it becomes useless. A bicycle will even run above it or pass it. So, all these, they are useless arguments of, no, everybody is marginalized. No, no, no. We are not given the fair, I mean, the level playground to exhibit our potential. That is the main problem. Do you see it? Do you see it? They use quota system, everything to kill us. I'm going to stop here, please, because I'm already late in the meeting. Tomorrow is another day, and from me, from here, it is simply good evening.